Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English in Moments. I'm Elena, your host for today. If you're just joining us, we post new English learning videos daily to help you improve faster. In today's session, you're not just going to sharpen your listening skills, you'll also build real confidence in speaking English. Today's topic is all about the building blocks of everyday conversation. Those simple yet incredibly effective expressions that make your chats flow naturally. We're diving into 60 essential English phrases for daily interactions. These are phrases you'll frequently hear and use, whether you're with friends, colleagues, classmates, or even people you've just met. From starting a conversation to saying goodbye gracefully, from asking for favors to sharing your thoughts, these phrases will truly make you sound more like a native speaker, and don't worry, we'll break everything down. I'll explain each phrase clearly with practical examples and practice sentences to really get your brain working. By the time we finish this video, you won't just understand these phrases, you'll be ready to use them automatically in your daily life. Before we jump in, remember to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so you never miss out on our daily English tips and conversation practice. So grab a pen and paper and let's get started. In our daily English exchanges, certain phrases appear constantly. These aren't complicated academic terms. They're the powerful tools that forge connections and keep dialogue moving. Mastering them helps you become more fluent, confident, and natural. These phrases are the heart of everyday English. Whether you're greeting someone first thing in the morning, asking for assistance, making plans, offering an apology, or just having a casual chat. This video will teach you 60 of the most useful phrases for everyday conversation. I'll show you how they work in real-world scenarios and how you can integrate them into your own daily speech. As you listen, try to picture yourself using these phrases. You'll also hear short practice examples to help you understand their common usage. Let's start with greetings and polite conversation starters. When you encounter someone at the beginning of the day, a simple good morning is always appropriate. In more casual settings, people often say, hey, hi, or simply morning. These initial greetings set a friendly and respectful tone for any discussion. When someone greets you, they'll frequently ask, how are you? A common and polite response is, I'm good, thanks. How about you? Or, doing well, thank you. These are basic, but they convey politeness and warmth. Imagine your workday beginning like this. You see a coworker and say, hi, good morning. They reply, morning, how are you today? You smile and say, doing great, thanks for asking. Just a few words, and already the interaction feels natural and pleasant. Next, let's explore phrases for making polite requests. When you need a hand, it's crucial to ask kindly. Instead of just saying, help me, try, can you help me? Or, could you give me a hand? These sound much more courteous and approachable. Adding please also softens your request, making it more respectful. For example, you might say, could you please help me carry this? Or, would you mind giving me a hand? And when someone assists you, a simple thank you or thanks so much goes a long way. You could also say, I really appreciate it. Picture this. You're struggling with a heavy bag and ask someone, could you please help me with this? They kindly respond, certainly, I'd be happy to. You then say, thank you so much. This is how natural everyday communication works, with an emphasis on kindness and good manners. Sometimes in conversation, we want to ask for someone's opinion. This is where phrases like, what do you think? Or do you agree? Come in handy. Asking someone for their thought shows you value their perspective and helps keep the dialogue flowing. You might also use phrases such as, that sounds good, I'm not sure, or I don't think so, when responding to others' ideas. Imagine you're discussing dinner plans with a friend. You say, I'm considering ordering pizza tonight. What are your thoughts? Your friend replies, that sounds great, but perhaps we could try Thai food instead? You think it over and respond, I'm not sure. I was really craving pizza today. And your friend agrees, all right, let's stick with pizza then. These simple phrases allow you to express opinions and reach friendly decisions. When you're meeting someone for the very first time, polite introductions are key. Common phrases you'll hear and use include nice to meet you or it's a pleasure to meet you. These are straightforward ways to create a positive initial impression. If you've already met the person before, it's more natural to say, nice to see you again. For instance, imagine being introduced to a new colleague. You say, hi, I'm Emily. The other person responds, hello, Emily, I'm Mark. It's truly a pleasure to meet you. You smile and reply, nice to meet you too. Later, as you finish chatting, you might say, it was great talking to you. See you around. These brief, polite exchanges help people connect and feel at ease with each other. Offering and asking for items is another frequent part of daily life. You might hear or use phrases like, would you like? Or, can I get you something? These are polite ways to make an offer. If you're accepting, you can say, yes, please. Or if declining, no, thank you. Politeness is crucial in these short answers. For example, if someone asks, would you like some tea? You can reply, yes, please, that sounds lovely. Or, no, thank you, I just had some. Small phrases like these keep conversations pleasant and respectful. Let's try a quick example. Someone asks, do you want to join us for lunch? You say, that would be wonderful, thank you. These little expressions convey friendliness and social awareness. Sometimes in conversation, you might not hear or understand something clearly. This is when phrases like, sorry, I didn't quite catch that, or could you please repeat that, become incredibly useful. They show that you're engaged and want to follow the conversation. You might also hear or use pardon or come again in more informal settings. Imagine someone speaks too quickly and you politely respond, sorry, could you repeat that? They say it again and you reply, got it, thanks. This kind of back and forth is very common in both formal and casual situations. Let's do a quick practice scenario using the phrases we've just covered. Imagine you walk into your office and see your coworker. You say, hey, good morning. They smile and reply, morning, how are you? You say, doing well, thanks. Listen, could you give me a hand with this report? They nod and say, sure, happy to help. You thank them with, I really appreciate it. Later you ask, do you want to grab lunch together? And they reply, yes, please. That sounds great. As you discuss where to go, you ask, what do you think about trying that new sandwich place? And they respond, sounds good to me. This brief example is packed with useful daily phrases that make conversations flow smoothly and naturally. Another set of helpful phrases includes those that show understanding or agreement. If someone tells you something and you want to show you're following along, you can say, I see, got it, exactly, or that makes sense. These are simple ways to show you're actively listening. For example, if your coworker says, we need to finish this by Friday, you can respond, got it, I'll start working on it now. These replies confirm your understanding and readiness to act. Finally, in this section, it's important to know how to apologize politely. Common phrases include, I'm sorry, excuse me, or I didn't mean to. These are useful for both minor slip-ups and more significant errors. If you're running late, you can say, sorry, I'm late. The traffic was bad. If you accidentally interrupt someone, say, excuse me. Using these phrases politely demonstrates good manners and helps resolve minor issues before they escalate. When we speak with others, it's not just about the words themselves, but how we keep the conversation engaged. One crucial set of phrases helps to keep discussions natural and flowing. For instance, using expressions like, that's interesting, really, or tell me more can encourage the other person to continue speaking and show your engagement. These short phrases are powerful because they allow you to stay involved without interrupting. Imagine talking to a friend who just returned from a trip. They say, I went to Japan last month. Instead of just nodding, you can say, wow, that's interesting. Tell me more about it. This kind of response conveys curiosity and prompts them to share further. Sometimes we want to give feedback in conversations, especially when someone shares good news or something emotional. Phrases like, congratulations, that's amazing, or I'm so happy for you, are excellent for positive reactions. Let's say a friend tells you, I landed a new job today. You can respond with excitement. That's amazing. Congratulations, you absolutely deserve it. These encouraging phrases help build strong connections. Conversely, when someone shares sad or disappointing news, use kind and supportive expressions like, I'm sorry to hear that. That must be tough, or I hope things improve soon. If a friend says, I lost my phone, you could reply, oh no, I'm sorry to hear that. Do you need any help? Small supportive phrases make a significant difference in daily conversations. When asking for information or clarification, you might use phrases like, do you know? Or, could you tell me? These are very common and sound polite in most situations. You might say, do you know what time the meeting starts? Or, could you tell me where the nearest bus stop is? These expressions are helpful when you're in unfamiliar places or talking to strangers. For even more politeness, you can add phrases like, excuse me, before asking. So you might say, excuse me, could you tell me where the restroom is? These everyday situations arise frequently, and using the right phrases helps you sound respectful and confident. There are also phrases that help you explain or clarify something. You might say what I mean is, or let me explain. These help you rephrase your thoughts if the other person seems confused. If someone doesn't understand your point, you can say, let me explain it another way, or perhaps I wasn't clear. What I meant was, for example, in a meeting, if your colleague looks unsure, you might say, let me explain. What I mean is, we need more time to finish the project properly. These phrases ensure your message is received clearly and respectfully. When agreeing or stating your opinion, you can use phrases like, I think so too, exactly, or that's true. These are simple ways to show agreement in conversation. If someone says, I believe teamwork is important, you can respond, exactly, I couldn't agree more. On the other hand, if you disagree, do so politely with phrases like, I see your point, but, or, I'm not sure I agree with that. For instance, if someone says, we should cancel the meeting and you disagree, you might say, I see your point, but I think we should still have it, even if it's shorter. These balanced responses keep conversations respectful and productive. In casual conversations, we often change topics. When doing this, it's useful to use natural transitions like, by the way, speaking of that, or that reminds me. These phrases help the conversation flow more smoothly, For instance, if you're talking to a friend about shopping and you suddenly remember something, you might say, "By the way, did you hear about the sale next week?" Or while discussing food, you could say, "That reminds me, I tried that new pizza place you mentioned." These little bridges make your conversation sound more natural and prevent awkward pauses. Now let's look at more practice through a real-life situation. Imagine this conversation between two friends. One friend says, "Guess what? I got promoted today." And the other replies, "That's amazing. Congratulations. Tell me all about it." The first friend continues, "Well, my manager called me in and said, I'm moving to a higher position starting next month." The reply is, "Wow, that's such fantastic news. I'm genuinely so happy for you. You've worked incredibly hard for this." The first friend smiles and says, "Thank you. It feels great to be recognized." Throughout this short dialogue, we hear several useful daily phrases that express surprise, interest, and happiness. This kind of friendly exchange happens every day in homes, schools, and workplaces. Another helpful set of phrases comes when making or changing plans. Phrases like "let's do that," "sounds good," "what time works for you," or "I'll get back to you" are commonly used when discussing arrangements. For example, if you and your friend are planning a weekend trip, you might say, "Let's head to the beach this Saturday." Your friend replies, "Sounds good. What time should we leave?" You respond, "How about 9 a.m.? I'll check the weather and get back to you." These phrases help you express agreement, suggest ideas, and adjust plans as needed. Let's try a short paragraph for practice. Imagine this conversation. A friend asks, "Are you free this evening?" And you reply, "Yes, I think so. Why?" They say, "I was thinking we could go see a movie." You respond, "Sounds great. What time does it start?" Your friend checks their phone and says, "At 7:30. Want to meet at 7." You agree, saying, "Perfect. See you then." This entire exchange is full of phrases that are very common in daily life. They help you manage plans smoothly and clearly. Sometimes we want to check someone's opinion or confirm something. You might hear phrases like, "Is that okay with you?" Or, "Do you mind if..." These are polite ways to ensure someone is comfortable with what you're suggesting. For example, you could say, "Do you mind if I open the window?" Or, "Is it all right if we change the meeting to tomorrow?" These questions are small, but they show respect for the other person's preferences. A simple response like, "Sure, no problem," or "I'm fine with that," keeps things friendly. Let's imagine another everyday scene for more practice. You're in a classroom, and you turn to your classmate and ask, "Do you mind if I borrow your notes?" They smile and reply, "Sure, no problem. I'll send them to you later." You say, "Thanks a lot, I appreciate it." Your classmate nods and says, "Anytime." Again, we see how natural these phrases sound in daily conversation. When offering help to someone, you might say, "Do you need a hand?" Or, "Can I help you with that?" These are thoughtful phrases that show kindness. And if you're the one receiving help, replying with, "That would be great, thanks," or "Yes, please, I'd appreciate it," is always a nice gesture. These small exchanges can happen anytime, at work, at home, or on the street. For instance, if you see someone carrying something heavy, you might say, "Do you need a hand with that?" And they could reply, "Yes, please, that's very kind of you." These small acts of communication build trust and friendliness. Another useful area of daily English conversation is making suggestions. Phrases like, "How about," "Why don't we," or "Maybe we could," help offer ideas in a gentle and friendly way. Imagine you and a colleague are discussing what to do after work. You might say, "How about grabbing some coffee before heading home?" Or, "Why don't we take a walk in the park?" These phrases open the door for others to respond without sounding forceful. They invite collaboration and make others feel included in the decision-making process. In casual conversation, expressing preferences is also very common. You may want to use phrases like "I'd rather," "I prefer," or "I'm more into." These phrases help you share your likes and dislikes politely. For instance, someone might say, "Do you want to watch a movie or go out for dinner?" And you could respond, "I'd rather go out for dinner. I've been sitting all day." Or if someone says, "Do you enjoy reading novels?" You might answer, "I prefer documentaries, but novels are good too." These expressions make conversations more personal and authentic as they reflect your unique opinions and interests. Let's look at a short conversation example to understand this better. A friend asks, "Do you feel like ordering pizza tonight?" And you respond, "Actually, I'd rather cook something at home." They say, "All right, that works. What do you want to make?" And you reply, "Maybe pasta. I'm more into lighter food these days." Through this brief dialogue, you can see how expressing preference helps guide the conversation in a relaxed and respectful way. Another group of useful phrases comes when you want to ask for permission. Common ways to do this include, "Can I?" "Is it okay if?" Or, "Would you mind if?" These phrases are used in schools, at work, or at home. For example, "Can I leave a little early today?" Or, "Is it okay if I use your phone for a second?" These requests sound polite and are usually followed by a short response like, "Sure, no problem," or "Go ahead." Being able to ask for permission correctly is essential in many situations. Let's practice this in a real-life setting. You're in a library and you want to ask the librarian for a pen. You say, "Excuse me, would you mind if I borrowed a pen for a minute?" The librarian replies, "Not at all. Here you go." You respond with, "Thank you so much. I'll return it right away." The librarian smiles and says, "No hurry." This kind of polite and thoughtful exchange helps you build trust and maintain good relationships. In friendly conversations, giving compliments also plays an important role. You might say things like, "You look great," "I like your outfit," or "That's a clever idea." Compliments help lift people's moods and create a positive atmosphere. If someone says, "I just finished decorating my room," you could say, "That sounds lovely. I bet it looks amazing." And if someone gets a haircut, you could say, "Wow, your new haircut really suits you." A small compliment can go a long way in making someone feel appreciated. Of course, responding to compliments politely is also important. If someone says, "You did a great job," you can reply, "Thank you, that means a lot." Or, "I appreciate that." These responses help continue the conversation while acknowledging the compliment. They also show humility and gratitude, both of which are valued in social settings. Now let's imagine another short scenario. Your coworker says, "Your presentation was really clear and professional." You smile and say, "Thanks so much. I was nervous, but I'm glad it went well." Your coworker nods and adds, "You should do more of these." You respond, "I'd love to. I'm learning more with each one." In this scene, the use of compliments and polite responses creates a comfortable and encouraging work environment. There are also moments in daily life when we want to express surprise or disbelief. Phrases like, "You're kidding," "No way," or "Seriously?" help convey your emotions and make the conversation more dynamic. For example, if a friend says, "I just ran into our old teacher at the airport," you might respond, no way. That's so random. Or if someone says, I'm moving to another country next week, you could say, seriously? That's such big news. These phrases add energy to your conversations and make them more engaging. When expressing gratitude beyond just thank you, it's helpful to use phrases like, thanks a ton, I truly appreciate it, or that's incredibly kind of you. These show that you genuinely value what someone has done for you. Imagine you were sick and a neighbor brought you some soup. You might say, thanks a ton, that was very kind of you. I really appreciate it. Using richer expressions of gratitude builds deeper social bonds. Likewise, when someone thanks you, responding with, you're welcome, anytime, or it's my pleasure, keeps the tone warm and friendly. Let's practice another example. A classmate helps you with your homework and you say, thanks so much, I really needed that help. They smile and reply, you're welcome anytime. These short, kind phrases help both people feel good about the exchange. In conversations, it's also common to show concern or check on someone's well-being. Phrases like, are you okay? Is everything all right? Or do you want to talk about it? Show empathy and support. If your friend looks upset, you might say, you seem a bit down. Are you okay? And if they say, I've had a rough day, you can respond, I'm here if you want to talk about it. These gentle, caring expressions can mean a lot to someone who is having a hard time. When someone shares something personal, responding with care is important. You might say, thanks for sharing that. Or, that must have been really difficult for you. These phrases validate their feelings and show that you're listening. Imagine a coworker shares a story about losing a loved one. You might say, I'm truly sorry to hear that. That must have been incredibly hard. Being able to speak kindly in difficult moments is a sign of strong communication skills. Let's do another short paragraph for practice. Your friend seems quiet and you ask, everything okay? They reply, not really, I didn't sleep well last night. You respond, I'm sorry to hear that. Want to grab a coffee and talk? They nod and say, that would be nice, thanks. This simple conversation shows how empathy and friendly phrases make people feel supported and heard. Finally, there are times when we want to encourage others. Expressions like, you can do it, don't give up, and I believe in you are powerful motivators. If your friend is nervous about giving a speech, you might say, you're going to do great, just be yourself. And when they say, I'm so nervous, you can add, that's normal. You've practiced a lot and you'll be fine. Encouraging phrases help others gain confidence and keep going, even when things feel hard. Let's practice one last scene. Your sibling says, I'm worried I won't pass my exam. You smile and say, you've studied hard? You can do this. They reply, I hope so. And you add, just stay focused. You've got this. These everyday phrases offer emotional support and positivity, which are important in building strong relationships. Another area where daily conversation phrases are useful is during shopping. Whether you're buying groceries, clothes, or gifts, you can use common phrases like, how much is this? Do you have this in a different size? Or, can I try this on? These questions are simple but important for interacting with shopkeepers and making sure you get what you need. For example, if you're in a clothing store and find a shirt you like, you might ask, how much is this shirt? The assistant may reply, it's $25. If it doesn't fit quite right, you can say, do you have this in a medium? These exchanges are routine, but they build confidence in using English in real-life situations. When you're at a checkout counter, you might hear or use phrases like, "Would you like a bag?" "Do you want to pay by card or cash?" Or, "Can I get a receipt, please?" And it's common to respond with, "Yes, please," or "No, thank you." Imagine you're at the grocery store buying some items and the cashier asks, "Would you like a bag?" You reply, "Yes, please." Then they say, "That'll be $18.50. You hand them your card and say, "I'll pay by card, thanks." After the transaction, you might ask, "Can I get a receipt, please?" These simple lines help you complete everyday tasks smoothly. Let's practice a short dialogue. You walk into a store and say, "Hi, do you have this jacket in large?" The store clerk replies, "Let me check." "Yes, we do. Would you like to try it on?" You say, "Yes, please." After trying it on, you say, "I'll take it." "How much is it?" The clerk says, "That'll be $40. You respond, "Can I pay by card?" And the clerk answers, "Of course." Finally, you say, "Can I get a receipt, please?" And they reply, "Sure, here you go." This simple interaction shows just how useful these phrases are in real-life shopping. Another set of useful phrases comes when asking for directions. If you're lost or unsure where to go, you might say, "Excuse me, can you help me? How do I get to the train station?" Or, "Is this the way to the museum?" These phrases help you navigate new areas and are especially helpful when traveling. For instance, if you're visiting a new city and don't know where the nearest pharmacy is, you can stop someone and ask, "Excuse me, is there a pharmacy nearby?" If they point and say, "Yes, just go straight and take a left," you can reply, "Thank you so much." And when someone asks you for directions, you can respond with phrases like, "Go straight ahead," "Turn left at the corner," or "It's right next to the bank." Let's say someone asks you, "How do I get to Central Park?" You might answer, "Walk 2 blocks straight, then turn right. You'll see the entrance next to the museum." If they say, "Thanks a lot," you can respond, "You're welcome. Have a great day." These exchanges are friendly and informative and help build confidence in using English in public spaces. Now let's practice a paragraph. You're walking downtown when someone stops you and says, "Excuse me, can you help me? I'm looking for the nearest coffee shop." You smile and say, "Sure, just keep going straight and turn left at the traffic lights. There's a nice one right next to the bookstore." They say, "Thank you so much." And you reply, "No problem, enjoy your coffee." These types of interactions happen often in real life, so practicing them will help you feel more comfortable using English outside of a classroom setting. Now let's look at how to offer help politely. You might use phrases like, "Can I help you with that?" "Do you need a hand?" or "Would you like some help?" Offering help in a kind and respectful way makes a good impression. For example, if someone is carrying a heavy box, you can say, "Do you need a hand with that?" Or, "Let me help you carry that." These simple offers show that you're thoughtful and considerate. If someone offers help to you, a good way to respond is with phrases like, "That would be great, thanks," or "I appreciate it, but I'm okay." Let's say you're in the office trying to carry too many papers. A coworker sees you and says, "Can I help you with those?" You smile and say, "Yes, that would be great, thank you." Later you might say, "Thanks again for helping out earlier." And your coworker might reply, "No worries, anytime." These kinds of exchanges are not only polite, but also help you build positive relationships. Let's create a short practice scene. You see your neighbor struggling to open the door while holding groceries. You say, "Here, let me get the door for you." They smile and say, "Thank you, that's really kind." You reply, "No problem at all. Happy to help." It's these little moments that build warmth and friendliness in everyday English conversation. Moving on, another useful skill in daily conversation is making and changing plans. Phrases like, "Let's meet at 6, "Can we reschedule?" or "I won't be able to make it" are commonly used when talking about plans. For instance, you might say, "Let's meet at the coffee shop around 6." And your friend might respond, "Sounds good. See you there." But sometimes plans change. If you need to cancel, you can say, "I'm sorry, I won't be able to make it tonight. Can we do it another day?" It's polite and honest and helps maintain good communication. Here's a practical paragraph. You text your friend and say, "Hey, are we still on for dinner tonight?" They reply, "Actually, something came up. Can we reschedule for tomorrow?" You say, "Sure, no worries." "Same time?" And they reply, "Yes, let's meet at 7." These types of small planning conversations happen all the time, and knowing how to manage them in English is very helpful. Let's look at how to apologize and handle misunderstandings. You might say, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to," or "It was my fault." These phrases show that you take responsibility and want to make things right. If you arrive late to a meeting, you can say, "I'm really sorry I'm late. There was heavy traffic." If you forget to return a message, you might say, "Sorry, I didn't get back to you sooner." These polite phrases are important in keeping relationships smooth and respectful. If someone apologizes to you, you can respond with, "That's okay, no problem," or "Don't worry about it." Let's say someone accidentally bumps into you. They say, "I'm so sorry." And you reply, "It's okay, no harm done." Or maybe a coworker forgets to send you a file. They say, "Sorry, I forgot to email you the report." And you respond, "That's all right. Just send it when you get a chance." These exchanges show that you're understanding and calm, which is always appreciated in daily communication. Let's practice with another scene. You're late meeting a friend and say, "I'm so sorry I kept you waiting." Your friend smiles and says, "It's fine, I just got here too." You add, "Thanks for being patient." And they reply, "Of course, let's go grab a bite." Apologizing and moving forward with kindness keeps conversations healthy and relaxed. Now let's talk about expressing feelings and opinions in conversations. Being able to share how you feel or what you think is essential in daily interactions. You might use phrases like, "I feel tired today." "I'm so happy to hear that." Or, "In my opinion, it's a good idea." These expressions help others understand your mood or point of view. For example, if a friend tells you they got a new job, you can say, "Wow, I'm so happy for you." Or, if you're feeling a bit down, you can say, "I am just feeling a little off today." These small but clear expressions build strong communication. You can also express agreement and disagreement politely. If you agree, say things like, "I think so too," "Exactly," or "You're right." But if you disagree, it's important to do it respectfully. You can say, "I see your point, but I think differently." Or, "I'm not sure I agree with that." Let's say you and your friend are discussing where to go for dinner. Your friend says, "Let's get pizza." You can say, "Good idea," or "Sounds great." But if you prefer something else, you might say, "Actually, I feel like trying something different. How about sushi?" These exchanges show you're engaged and respectful of others' opinions. Here's a quick practice story. You're chatting with a colleague about weekend plans. They say, "I think going hiking would be fun." You say, "I think so too. It's a great way to relax." Then they add, but I'm not sure about the weather. You reply, yeah, you're right. Maybe we should check the forecast first. These types of exchanges help you connect and keep the conversation natural and thoughtful. Another common conversation topic is health and well-being. When you're not feeling well, it's helpful to use phrases like, I'm not feeling great, I think I caught a cold, or I need to rest today. If someone asks how you are and you're not doing your best, you can reply, I've been better, or just feeling a bit under the weather. And if someone tells you they're not feeling well, you can say, I hope you feel better soon, or take care of yourself. Let's imagine you meet a friend at the cafe and ask, how are you? They reply, I'm not feeling too well today. I think I've got a cold. You say, oh no, I hope you feel better soon. Make sure to get some rest. These kinds of phrases make conversations more personal and caring. Even simple words of kindness can leave a big impact. Let's do another short exercise. You're at work and notice your coworker looks tired. You ask, are you okay? They say, just a bit tired, didn't sleep well. You respond, hope you get a better night's sleep tonight. This simple exchange builds empathy and shows that you care even in short conversations. Sometimes daily conversations involve talking about routines and habits. You might say, I usually wake up at 7, I go to the gym after work, or I cook dinner every night. These types of sentences help you share your lifestyle and connect with others who might have similar routines. For example, when someone asks, what do you do after work? You can reply, I usually go for a walk or relax with a book. These details help people understand you better and make conversation flow naturally. You can also ask others about their routines with questions like, what time do you usually wake up? Do you work out regularly? Or, what do you do on weekends? These questions keep the conversation going and show interest in the other person's life. Imagine you're at a lunch table and say, I try to work out every morning. A friend replies, really? That's impressive. I usually exercise at night. Then you say, yeah, mornings work better for me. It wakes me up. It's small talk, but it helps build friendships and improve fluency. Here's a routine-based practice example. You're chatting with a classmate who asks, what's your usual weekday like? You say, I wake up at 7, have a quick breakfast, and then head to work. After work, I usually go for a jog and cook dinner. Your classmate replies, that sounds like a healthy routine. I wish I had more time to cook. You say, it's not easy, but I try to plan ahead. These types of everyday exchanges are great for practicing past and present tense naturally. Now let's shift to talking about the weather, which is one of the most common conversation topics worldwide. Phrases like, it's a beautiful day, it's really hot today, or looks like it's going to rain, are often used when starting small talk. If you see a neighbor, you can say, what a lovely day. And they might reply, yes, finally some sunshine after all that rain. Talking about the weather is a safe and easy way to start conversations with anyone, anywhere. For example, at a bus stop, you might say, it's freezing today, isn't it? And someone could respond, yes, I should have worn another jacket. It's not a deep topic, but it helps you build confidence and break the silence. You can also ask, do you know if it's going to rain later? Or did you hear about the storm coming? These are normal and friendly ways to connect with people. Let's practice a weather conversation. You walk into the office and say, it's so windy outside today. A coworker replies, I know, I almost lost my umbrella. You both laugh and you say, Hopefully, it'll calm down by the evening. That short exchange makes the atmosphere friendly and relaxed. Finally, it's helpful to know some phrases for ending conversations politely. You can say, "It was nice talking to you." "I've got to go now," or "Let's catch up later." These phrases show good manners and allow you to exit conversations naturally. For example, if you've been chatting with a friend for a while and need to leave, you might say, "Anyway, I've got to run, but it was great talking to you." They'll likely say, "You too, let's talk again soon." It's respectful and keeps things positive. Let's do a final short practice. You're on a phone call with a family member. After talking for a bit, you say, "All right, I should get going now." They reply, "Okay, talk to you later." You say, "Take care." And they respond, "You too." These smooth and gentle phrases make endings feel just as comfortable as the start. In this lesson, we've explored more than 60 useful English phrases for everyday conversation. These phrases can be used in real-life situations like greetings, shopping, asking for help, giving directions, making plans, apologizing, and so much more. We also practiced how to respond politely, share feelings, and talk about habits, weather, and routines. By using these phrases and practicing them regularly, your spoken English will become more fluent, confident, and natural. Now it's your turn to practice. Pick any 5 phrases from today's video and try using them in your next conversation. Repeat them out loud, write them down, and use them in different situations throughout your day. The more you use them, the more they will become part of your natural speaking style. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed learning these daily phrases and that you feel more prepared to use them in your own conversations. If you found this lesson helpful, don't forget to check out more videos on our channel where we cover different topics every day to support your English learning journey. Keep practicing, keep improving, and remember, your progress matters. See you next time.